Give it a second.
Mhm.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Cassandra, and I am here on behalf of NJACAC and StriveScan. We want to welcome you and just do a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to use the Q&A box. You will be muted and off camera, so we won't be able to see or hear you. So the Q&A box is the best way to communicate with us. We encourage you to look at the website and look at other sessions that you might be interested in attending. The website is right there on the screen. It is njacac.org/virtual affairs. And a reminder that these are all recorded. So if you missed a session that you're really interested in or want to rewatch a session because it was so great, you can go back and do that as well. With that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Paige from Clarkson University, and we'll get started.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you for everybody that's attending today. So I'm just going to take a second and pull up my PowerPoint. So hopefully everybody is able to see this, and I hope everybody's having a fantastic afternoon on this Monday. So for those of you joining again, thank you so much. And for those of you that are watching after today's session ends, if you have any questions, and I'll reiterate this at the end, our email is admissions@clarkson.edu for any follow-up questions that you have. So Clarkson University, if you are just starting your college search and you're just hearing about us today, or if you've been looking into us for a while, we'll just go over some quick facts about us. So we are a smaller private university in upstate New York. We have right around 3,300 undergraduate students on our campus, and every year we bring in around 800 or so students. So we are a smaller university. Our average class size is around 13:1, which is really nice. I think it really allows you to get to know the faculty very well on our campus. We are a very heavy research university as well. And so it's really nice to be able to make those connections with faculty, to be able to get to know them very well. And oftentimes, if you go up to them and ask them if they can have you get involved somehow in their research, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes. And so again, I think it's very important to make those connections when you are going to college and really see what schools out there allow you to have those close connections with your faculty. So we have a total of 270 undergraduate professors on our campus. So all of your classes are going to have a true faculty member, a true professor in the classroom. And then of course, there may be smaller classes that you're taking as subsections of, say, a larger Chem 1 course. And then you may have some TAs in those classes as well that are there to kind of help you through any of those concepts that you're studying. And so to go over our admissions and financial aid piece, the big change for us this year is that we are going test optional for fall 2021 applicants. So you certainly can still submit your SAT or your ACT scores, but it won't be required this year. I know one thing about the SATs and the ACTs, if you don't end up submitting test scores, it won't impact your chances to be able to get merit scholarships from Clarkson. So certainly if you do wish to submit those, one question we get a lot is, what are our average SAT and ACT scores? So for us, an average SAT is right around a 1270. ACT is usually around a 27-28 range. So with that being said, we will still require your official transcript to be sent by your school's counseling staff, as well as 2 letters of recommendation. The one nice thing about Clarkson being a smaller university is that if you were to submit to us more than 2 letters of recommendation, we certainly will read all of them. Try to keep in mind that you're getting quality letters of recommendation. We've had students send us up to, I think, 5, and we again happily read all of them. And I think every little bit tells us more and more about your story. So with that being said, you are automatically considered for merit scholarships when applying to Clarkson. And that is whether you apply to us early decision or regular decision. Speaking of those deadlines, we only have 2 really for you to remember. One is, again, early decision. It's a binding decision. And that we have a smaller percentage of students that apply to us early decision. I'd say around 10% every year. So that deadline, they always stay the same. It is a December 1st deadline. And then with that being said, regular decision, I would say about 90% of our students apply regular decision, and that is a January 15th deadline. So again, merit scholarships will automatically consider you for either of those deadlines, as well as we do have a separate subsection of specialty scholarships. And you'll see that list right on our website. And And you'll notice there as well that they will all be due at the same time that your application is due. So again, for example, if you apply regular decision, all of those scholarship deadlines would also be due January 15th. So we have a very, very large majority of students that will receive some type of aid from Clarkson, about 90%. And the one thing to note as well is we take the FAFSA. We don't require the CSS profile, and that is actually open live now. So it opened October 1st. It opens October 1st of every year. So you certainly want to submit that and see if you qualify for any federal aid. So to talk about our undergraduate programs, the first department that we have is the School of Arts and Sciences. And so you'll see here that it houses all of our sciences as well as the majors that we offer that are more on the liberal studies side of things. So we have a very strong science department here at Clarkson. We have students, some of our top majors that are going into biology, biomolecular science, chemistry, physics. So those are very strong majors for our students. And I think one of the nice things is that you can certainly not only build off of those, it's very easy to double major in the School of Arts and Sciences. So you may have students that want to do chemistry and a biology double major. That's certainly possible. We have a lot of minors that are relevant to all of our programs as well. So I know some students, for example, they may go into psychology. We have a really strong psychology program as well. And with that being said, they may add on some type of minor, whether it be more of cognitive neuroscience, behavioral sciences. So we have all those different minors as well. We also have a brand new healthcare and medicine minor. So a lot of students have been adding that in if they're looking on going on to grad school for some type of medical degree. With that being said, you'll see actually on one of the slides that we'll be seeing shortly, some of our pre-professional programs. So we have a lot of students that will come in for pre-med, pre-physical therapy, pre-physician's assistant. So you have all of those tracks that you can add into your majors to supplement that. And I think you'll see throughout today's presentation that really Clarkson is, 4 years, and you can really do so much within those 4 years. You can truly personalize and tailor those 4 years to what you want them to be. So here we have the School of Business, and you'll notice here that we don't have programs listed like a pure, marketing program, for example, or a pure finance program. And that's because we want to make sure that you are going to have the best return on your investment coming into Clarkson. So you'll see a lot of these, for example, we may not have a pure finance program, but we offer financial information and analysis. So you're getting, skills not only in finance, but also accounting, economics. You're kind of merging all of those into one stronger degree. Really big for us as well, we have global supply chain management, which we also offer at the graduate level. We have an MBA program here as well. I'm just going to shout that out for a second. I'm part of that, and I've truly, truly enjoyed my experience. So if you have any questions about that as well, at the end, please feel free. And during this whole presentation, add any of your questions down below to the Q&A. So one thing to mention about the School of Business that makes that stand out a little bit from the rest of our departments here. So all of our students are required to complete some type of professional experience. A very large percentage of students will complete that through some type of internship or co-op. Some students may complete that requirement through one of our experiences, such as the Adirondack semester. Students may also complete that through some type of research that they do on campus. But the one thing that's different about the School of Business is you also have a required global studies program. And so most students will complete that actually by going and studying abroad. So we have over 50 programs for that, and we'll be seeing a slide with some sample programs shortly as well. So what we'd like to do in the School of Business is make sure that you have an understanding in how other global companies work and how other organizations may work, where you may have a company and you're working with partners internationally. So we like to make sure that you have those experiences so that you truly come out ready and prepared for your future career. So next, we're turning to the School of Engineering. In the School of Engineering, we have about 60% of our students come to Clarkson for engineering. So that is definitely our largest department. With that being said, you're seeing here a list of our engineering majors. We have students that, for example, may come to us and double major in mechanical and aeronautical. Those programs fit very well together. So even though our engineering curriculums are very strict and you have so many different courses to complete before you can sit in for your FEs, coming out certified in engineering, and also making sure that you're getting those professional experiences in, but you are able to definitely double major, and some of these fit very well together. We also have a lot of students, for example, that will do software and electrical engineering together. Environmental and civil, those fit very, very well together. And so again, I think with Clarkson, we are a smaller university, and you get to know your advisors very well, and they really work very closely with you all 4 years to make sure if that's something you want to do, you are able to do those double majors and still graduate within the 4 years. So again, minors and concentrations are available in all of our different departments. So I know, for example, one that's very popular, mechanical engineering, students may come in and they may add robotics to that. So you can really, again, tailor it to what it is that you want your future career to be. So finally, here we have the Institute for Sustainable Environment. This is truly a hidden gem on Clarkson's campus. With that being said, Clarkson is consistently one of the top green universities in the nation. And I think you see that all around campus. Our president, Tony Collins, he actually came into Clarkson as an engineering professor for civil engineering. And so he is really very much a strong proponent for sustainability measures. And so again, you see that in our programs, you see that in the experiences that you can get here in our student life and in our clubs, but you also see that reflected really all around campus. And Clarkson, we sit on a gorgeous 600-acre campus. You really get that feel of the Adirondacks, which we are right to the north of the Adirondack Mountains, and you get that sense across campus. But you also see on campus when you're taking a tour, our sustainability measures. We have gone completely styrofoam free. We have a lot of research going on in this field right now, partnerships where students do summer research abroad, working towards sustainability measures in other countries. We have an anaerobic digester on campus and a greenhouse. So there's a lot of those different elements you see on our campus. Here we also mention our interdisciplinary programs. I would not want to go through this presentation and not mention the engineering and management program. I think that might be one of my favorite programs on our campus, fully interdisciplinary. So you're taking half of your courses in the School of Business and half of your courses in engineering. And the last few years that they've tracked that program, they are consistently at 100% placement. So there is a stronger need for those students than the amount of students we have coming out of that program. And I think, again, it's that merger of those two departments. Both are accredited on the ABET side and the AACSB side of the School of Business. So you're coming out with a really, really strong foundation to go into either business or engineering. The Digital Arts and Sciences is a fantastic program as well. So if you're ever looking to go into film production or graphic design, any of those career paths, they kind of merge together under that one major. And so finally, our pre-advising programs. So you can supplement any major with these pre-advising programs. So for example, we have a lot of students go into pre-physical therapy, physician's assistant, and occupational therapy because we have all of those at the graduate level as well. So we'll have students maybe supplement some of their science major. Can again really go into any major. In that pre-advising program, you will get a second advisor that makes sure you're staying on track for all 4 years, making sure you're getting your professional experiences and also any shadowing hours that are required. And if you are still exploring, no matter where you are in your college search process, that is perfectly fine. We have actually 5 different tracks that you can get into, so you don't have to declare a specific major. So for example, if you know you really love engineering, you love that thought of being able to actually apply science and math and work with your hands, you can certainly come in as engineering studies. So you don't have to know specifically what major it is you want to do. And that advisor will work even closer with you to make sure that they're really uncovering what it is that you want to do for your future career. And so with that being said, we talked a bit earlier about our professional experiences. So you will see here a list of 4 of kind of the core examples of where our students will go for their professional experience. So most students will complete this through an internship. And one thing to mention is that even though you do have this as a requirement, most of our students will do more than one professional experience before they graduate. So they truly have that really strong resume that they are coming out with, and they're able to present to those future employers at our career fairs or where they are going to interview. So internships, again, large large majority of students will complete their professional experience this way. Most of them are done over the summer. And with that being said, one thing to mention is that our co-ops that we also have, I almost explain these if this is your first time hearing about a co-op, almost like an extended internship. But what you're actually doing is you are pausing on your classes. You're going to work full time for about 8 months, and you're going to work with an employer within your respective field. And with that being said, all of our co-ops, 100% of them are paid programs because again, you're working full time. The internships, I have to say too, very, very large majority of those are also paid, which is really nice. So about 90% of those are paid programs as well. Could be even a little bit higher than 90%. And the one thing that I always make sure to mention to students is that you want to look into the colleges that you're interested in. What is it that you're doing during these professional experiences? So for us, with our internships, for example, you're not going to an engineering firm and just sitting and filling out paperwork. You're actually getting that true experience that's going to be needed, and experience that's really going to help you make sure not only is this the right path for me, but again, is really helping you to build your resume and show those skills to your future employer. For us, research is really heavy on our campus as well. We also have an honors program that I'd just like to mention very quickly here. So in the honors program, it's also kind of a requirement, but it's very, very easy for you to also get involved in research and develop your own research. But there's tons of research to help out with as a student here. Some paid opportunities, some unpaid research opportunities that you can do throughout the year as well. So there's tons to be had on our campus in any department and any major. And finally, study abroad can potentially fulfill this supplement as well, or this requirement rather. And so again, over 50 study abroad programs, and we'll see shortly an example of those. So one thing that I like to mention is Clarkson is really known for its professional experiences. And so we, our students here at Clarkson, they are continuously earning some of the highest rates of pay as far as their internships go, co-ops, and again, some research positions on campus are paid positions. And so that's really nice to kind of get that back as far as, a financial benefit, but also truly they are strong internships that we partner with employers for. And so you're really getting the actual experience of your future field. And so just some examples of companies that employ co-op students. You'll see a good list here. So we have really strong partnerships with Johnson & Johnson, Lancome, IBM, General Electric. So kind of the list goes on and on. Tons of students that go and do co-ops at Walt Disney World, which I personally think is really cool. But our students, they kind of go everywhere. You can do co-ops close to your home. You can do co-ops, say if you're from New Jersey and wanting to do a co-op and see what it's like to work out in California, we can absolutely help you set up those co-op opportunities and help you with any questions you may have about, say, housing, for example, while you are away doing your co-op. And so quick shout out to our Career Center. They are there to help you not only find those opportunities as far as co-ops and internships go, but they also hold 2 really awesome career fairs every year. This past fall, we actually did our first virtual career fair. So it was, not the norm, but I heard really, really great feedback from our students in that it was actually one student that I work with quite often. She said that it was quieter, of course, because you're in your own home doing these interviews with these potential employers. And she said it was actually kind of a nice break. But it's also nice to be in the career fair and going to the student center and going to meet with all of these different potential employers. And so usually in the fall, we have anywhere from 180 to 200 employers. The last fall 2019, we had over 190 companies attend. And then in the spring, we may see around 120 to 150 employers. And I think that the dip there is always because we are a bit colder in upstate New York, and so a bit more snowy as well. So sometimes that can be a bit of a travel challenge for employers coming to the career fair, but we always, regardless, have 2 really, really strong turnouts. And so we do have some just quick, fast facts about Clarkson. I won't go on and on about these, but I think the nice thing to know, again, I'm going to reiterate this a couple times in today's presentation, but really, where are you getting that best return on what you're paying for? So for us, our 97% placement rate, we're continuously among the nation's highest placement rate. And that's not just 97% placement going into a job after college. It's truly 97% placement going into that field that you have studied for those 4 years. Some students may be part of that placement rate and they are going on to grad school directly. And our students go everywhere for grad school. Lots of really top, top name universities, top name grad programs, and the list kind of goes on. And feel free if you have any questions about where our students go for grad school or any questions at all, certainly add those down below as well. And so one thing that we always do point out is Clarkson students, they come in as leaders and they come in with leadership skills in high school and community service. So I think we have really strong students coming into the university and they come out as even stronger leaders. So 1 of every 5 Clarkson students comes out and graduates as, starting up their own company or a president or senior executive of a company. So we have really strong students doing really great things here. And again, coming out as even stronger leaders. And so I had mentioned the study abroad programs, and here we're seeing that good list that I had mentioned. And my joke is always that we have partnerships on every continent except for Antarctica because it's cold enough in Potsdam in upstate New York. So you'll see here kind of this map where we have pins. And so we have 55 university partnerships right now in actually 29 countries. So we just made one more country, added one more country to our list. And you don't even have to apply. So they're partners with us. And so what you do is you have that equal exchange. You can go to any of these countries. Some will have several different universities. And so my big word of advice, no matter where you go to college, if you're interested in study abroad, know that going into school, and you can certainly, think about that later on too, but I really push meeting with the International Center early on, telling them what your major is, where it is, if you have a specific place that you want to go, and they can make it happen for you. And they'll do that by seeing what schools best partner with your major so that you're not necessarily adding on time to be able to do that. And so one thing that we'll also mention today is our student life. And so when I talk about student life, I always say that Clarkson is a smaller university, but we are not small in the amount of things that we have to do, both on our campus as well as in the surrounding area. So the last time I checked, we have now 220 different organizations and clubs on our campus for you to get involved with. So every single year, again, this year was kind of the exception where things went virtual, but in person typically is where we're doing a club, an activity fair rather. So that typically will take place the first Monday of every fall. And again, it went virtual this year, but what usually happens is in the Student Center, you'll have all these different clubs represented at different tables. And so again, just kind of words of advice from somebody who's gone to college, go to these activities, early on, go to the activity fair early on, mingle and get out of your comfort zone and meet new people and see, what are there, what different clubs do we have to offer? And so I really recommend to students when you're in college, try something new, join a new honor society. If you've never played, volleyball before, join the intramural team. So there are lots of different things that you can explore as far as student life here at Clarkson. So we do have the athletics teams. I do have to give a quick shout out as far as the athletics here at Clarkson. So we have 20 different teams, 2 Division I and the rest are Division III. So as far as Division I goes, we are really known for our hockey teams and they make up a huge part of student life in the winter. And so we have the D1 men's and women's ice hockey teams. They're really fun. They draw huge crowds from the community, from students, faculty and staff like myself. I'm a big hockey fan. So I always go to the games and we have a really, really awesome pep band too that's there and they love to hype up the crowd. And so again, try new things, try out for the pep band. If you have always wanted to play in a pep band and you have, that experience with instrumental, an instrumental background. And we have tons of different music clubs, tons of fun clubs. Like we have a really cool ultimate Frisbee club. One thing that I think is cool that's kind of coming back is we have a really big bowling club. So if you've always wanted to try bowling and you never have, these are the things that I again recommend that you take a look at. not only fun clubs, but also I always mention our leadership opportunities, whether it be joining student government, which does so much and has such a big say on our campus, joining our honor societies, professional organizations. And you even see this when you're moving onto campus. For every freshman floor in the dorms, we actually have living learning communities. And there are some that are more on like the fun side. For example, the outing club, which is our biggest club on campus, they have their own floor. And the outing club, to mention them as well, they do everything on weekends from hiking and kayaking, canoeing. They really take advantage of us being so close to the Adirondacks. And so they're always doing things throughout the year, and they also have their own floor in the freshman dorms. And then there's everything from SWE, which is the Society for Women in Engineering. They are a professional organization, but they also have their own floor, their own living learning community. And so we always have those to choose from, which starts you out almost in like a smaller friend group when you get right to campus. With that being said, freshman housing, we have the quad area, which houses most of our freshman housing, and it's 2 to a room. We also have Hamlin Powers, which is another set of dorms, and again, kind of that standard 2 to a room housing. And then we also have suite style and townhouses and apartments on campus. And while I'm on that track, I always mention that we do allow freshmen to have cars. Cars are allowed for students all 4 years, which is always a really big, exciting thing that I talk to students about. And so again, you can see all these different clubs here listed. The other thing for us too is our special events. And so when I talk to students, they always mention that even though we are in a rural upstate New York location, there's always something going on the weekends here on campus, whether it be concerts, open mic nights, we have comedy shows, trivia nights throughout the year. We also host a fall fest and a spring fest, which are really fun. But then we are also, again, in the perfect location, whether you love the outdoors and want to go, join the outing club and take part of the Adirondack semester, for example. And then to our north, we actually have 2 really gorgeous Canadian cities, Ottawa, which is about an hour and a half away, and Montreal, which is about 2 hours away. And again, being a big hockey person, we have the 2 great NHL teams in Ottawa and Montreal. So again, just something really exciting to have in our area. And then one thing that I will also mention about our clubs and organizations is our speed teams. So we have 12 speed teams currently. And here you're seeing the mini Baja, which I think always looks really fun, even somebody coming not from an engineering background. But there's everything from the mini Baja to a concrete canoe, which I have no idea how that works, but it always looks super fun. We have First Robotics as part of our speed teams, and you can join any of these clubs. They are more engineering oriented, but any of our students are more than welcome to join. You do just have to take like a machine shop class first, and then you get access to joining the speed teams. They will go on regional competitions. Some of them have gone to national competitions, which is really exciting. And again, it's a fun thing to be a part of, but it's also that really great hands-on experience that you're getting here at Clarkson. And so one of the final things that I will mention today, and then we'll open up for any questions that we have, is our resources. And I really recommend, as you are looking at colleges, when you're thinking long-term and thinking into transitioning from high school to your first year of college, what are the resources that are easily and readily available to you? So the biggest thing that I mention is our first year advising program. And so with that being said, every student coming in, you not only get a faculty advisor, but you also have a first year advisor, which is a bit separate from your academic advisor, who's there to make sure you're doing all of your classes and getting your professional experiences in. Your first year advisor is there with you, and they actually create an individual plan for you to see, they kind of gauge, what is it that you are hoping to get out of your 4 years? What is it that your major is? What are you wanting to do in those 4 years? And they're really a strong resource for you to have and just check in with throughout the year. If you ever feel, which I think is normal for every college student, I was one of them, where you have times where you're just really stressed out and you may be coming up on midterms, that's the advisor that's there to check in with you. And we also have really strong student success center. And so that's another really big resource I push, as well as our counseling services. And so whatever year you are in, all of these services are open to you. So we also have a really strong diversity and inclusion office that's kind of housed close to the Student Success Center. And so they're there to really make sure that you have those resources, to make sure that you you are successful and that you're doing well all 4 years. We also offer the Office of Accessibility Services. So if you ever need any accommodative services, that's a really great department for you to go to. And also, I always recommend checking with them prior to coming onto campus if there are any accommodative services that you will need during your time at Clarkson, so that they can make sure you're on the right track starting off immediately. And finally, lots of really great additional resources. I know it's not mentioned here, but tutoring. We actually have tutoring for several of our freshman first-year classes. So Chem 1, Physics 1, we actually have those held weekly in the Quad Center. There's actually like a classroom within the Quad. So you can always seek those out very easily. And then our tutoring center is where you can go for all of your classes. If you ever need to sign up for tutoring hours to meet one-on-one with somebody outside of class. Your professor is also a really great resource, but sometimes it's nice to sit down with another student and talk out some questions that you have about your courses. And so outside of that, the Writing Center is phenomenal. They're located right in Snell Hall, which is where most of our business classes take place. And that's another great resource for you to just bring in papers and just sit down with somebody and say, can you help me? And just, I need a second pair of eyes on this paper. And so they can certainly sit down with you and walk through, any papers that you may have questions about. And so finally, test prep. I think that's huge, especially again, looking at that placement rate and seeing that some of our students go immediately on to graduate school. So this can certainly help you. We offer courses here for the GRE, GMAT, tons and tons of different grad programs, what their requirements are for their exams. We have those resources for you. And so in closing, we have a bunch of statistics up here again. And the one that I always draw your attention to is on that middle line on the right, one of the top affordable colleges with that return on investment. And again, I think it's all about taking that look into the schools. What is it that you are getting out of your 4 years? What professional experiences are you getting? Are you able to go to a school where you have those really close connections and you're able to talk easily with your professors and have them be kind of a first point of contact for you? What does your career center do at the college you're going to? Are they there just to kind of check in every once in a while, or do they really offer opportunities like ours do, such as resume building and interview nights, and again, connecting you with those future employers? So I think all of that, just looking holistically at the colleges that you're looking at, it's very, very important. And I know as we're getting closer to some of the deadlines coming up for colleges, I'm sure that most of you are starting to look into those resources. And so if you have any questions as you're going through the admissions process, the application process, and any questions on all things Clarkson, you can feel free, give us a call. Our number is listed here. Our website is also listed, clarkson.edu. And again, you can email us at admissions@clarkson.edu. And again, my name is Paige. I'm the New Jersey specific admissions counselor. So you can find my information very easily and email me as well. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and I will see, I believe that we have some attendees here today. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them below. While we're waiting to see if we have questions, just one quick thing that I would like to mention, actually two quick things. So we are having our open houses come up very soon. They will be virtual and they're both on Saturdays. One's October 17th. The next one will be November 7th. And so we will be hosting those again virtually this year, but we are now open not only for virtual visits, as well as we are open for in-person visits. So if you are interested in learning more about Clarkson, go to our visit website and you can again schedule a number of different visits, whether they be my Clarkson chats or our visits and our in-person tours to campus.
Great. Thank you so much, Paige. And if you guys have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out. Sorry. If you could complete a quick survey before you leave today, that would be fantastic. Also, remember that there are additional sessions available if you want to sign up, and this will be recorded so you can come back and watch it or go back and watch any other fair that you may have missed. So thank you again and have a great day.
Bye. Thank you so much.